down in the deep.
Now I know y'all be loving this shit right here.
Rolling, rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do?
Rolling, rolling.
What you gonna do now?
Down in the rolling, rolling, rolling.
Welcome to the Man Utd stream. Hope you're doing well. It's Monday morning and have we got a cracking show for you today? Yes, we've got lots to discuss. Elliot Anderson, could it be back on? Will he be our first marquee signing of the summer transfer window? We've been getting lots of good news, positive news concerning Elliot Anderson, and yesterday we got to see him in action at Old Trafford. Could it be his next home? He was all over the pitch. He got 2 assists, I believe, and he looked very impressive. And now we're hearing rumours that Michael Carricl wants Elliot Anderson to be his big signing of the summer transfer window. Let's see if we can get that done. City look like they've pivoted and looking at other players, maybe even Adam Wharton. Could this be alarm bells for United? Should United be pursuing Elliot Anderson, knowing that Nottingham Forest may not accept anything less than 100 million? We're going to be discussing that and lots more in today's show. We're going to also be looking back at yesterday's game, seeing what went right, what went wrong. Have we got any question marks over Michael Carrick's tactics, or is he just getting everything spot on? We're also going to be talking about Sandro Tonali from Newcastle. Could he be another player that United are looking at and looking like they're going to get? Because there's rumours coming out, reports coming out very close to Tonali that Man United are in pole position to sign Sandro Tonali. Let's wait and see. Let me know in the chat who you'd prefer. For me, you've known for some time who my preferred option is, and that is Tchouaméni of Real Madrid. I feel like he's the only guy who can step in the shoes of Casemiro and fill them to some degree. So we've got a massive show today. We're going to be discussing lots and lots of stuff. We've got so much to cover, but we will try and get it done as quick as possible. It might go on for some time, but of course, get yourself a drink, get yourself a nice cup of tea, sit down, relax, because we've got lots to talk about in today's morning show. Now, let's kick off today's show with the big news, which is Elliot Anderson. Since yesterday's game against Nottingham Forest, we have heard lots of... It's gone wild on Elliot Anderson because, look, number one, he had a fantastic game. And I knew immediately when we were watching him play and he was having such a dramatic impact on his Nottingham Forest team. I think, look, he was driving them forward. He got them 2 assists and everyone was talking about Elliot Anderson this, Elliot Anderson that. And I knew immediately whilst the game was even going on that now we're going to get a lot of pressure on Man United to go and sign Elliot Anderson because we've seen what he's capable of. My position hasn't changed on Elliot Anderson. Look, I feel like he's a top player. I've maintained that. I've never once said that he's not good enough. I've just said that his price tag is extortionate. Could we go out there and sign 2 world-class players for the same amount of money? Could we go and sign maybe a Tonali and Tchouaméni in that price bracket? Yes, we could. If we drive a hard bargain, we can go negotiate hard and maybe get Tonali and Tchouaméni. 2 for the price of 1. Now, some of you might say, well, look, Travis, that's because they're not as good as Elliot Anderson. You've got to pay for what you get, blah, blah, blah. And Elliot Anderson is the guy that we should be going for because he is someone who can dictate and change games like we saw yesterday. He was very good, I'm not going to lie, but I also thought Gibbs White was very good. I thought actually there was quite a few Nottingham players that actually played really well. But then again, United should have been way out in the lead. United should have absolutely wiped the floor with Forest. We had Mbeumo. We had Mbeumo who could have. I mean, look, I was looking at this stat before and I was thinking, right, Kuna with 10 goals, Sesko with 11 goals, Mbeumo with 10 goals. Mbeumo could have had 5 goals yesterday. He could have been up to 15. He could have been up to 15 after yesterday's game. I mean, that's how many chances he missed. Sitters. I don't want to pick on Mbeumo, but something's not right. His confidence levels are down in the dumps, and I think he needs to kind of take a break and hopefully come back stronger next season. I'm not sure whether he'll start next game. I'm thinking he will. But you never know. You never know. But anyway, look, the match yesterday, we'll come to the match yesterday first, actually, because we've got lots to discuss concerning the match. Because, look, it was Casemiro's last game. It was emotional. The Old Trafford crowd, what a sight. What a noise. What an atmosphere. I mean, come on. If that didn't send shivers down your spine, I don't know what would. I mean, that was such a nice atmosphere. Just even before the kickoff. As a Man United fan, that's what you want to hear Old Trafford bopping like. I mean, it was absolutely crazy. Casemiro leaving. It was an emotional scene after the game as well. He said he farewell. He gave us a very short speech. And then we heard from the gaffer himself in Michael Carricl. Many fans saying that it wasn't a very inspirational speech. Well, look, in comparison to Ruben Amorim's poetic speeches, yes, maybe not so. But look, I've had enough of these poetic speeches from managers. I want them to do their talking on the pitch. I don't care whether Carrick can give a awe-inspiring speech to the Old Trafford crowd. I want him to be talking on the pitch. So, yeah, we've been there, done that. It doesn't actually work. So we can have Ruben Amorim tell us that, the storm is coming and the storm's gone and bright days. But look, it's all a load of rubbish. It's all a load of rubbish if we're not getting the results on the pitch. So, yeah, Carrick wasn't, getting you off your seat and whatnot, but he's still done a good job. And, well, let's hope we can go into next season with that same kind of form. Well, not actually, we need to improve on this kind of form because we should have actually battered Nottingham Forest. Our finishing was poor. We had a crazy amount of shots, but second half, what a second half that was. Now, I'm not going to go back to reviewing and analysing what happened in yesterday's game. We all know, look, it was a good game. It was entertaining. No matter what, it was entertaining. It kept you on the edge of your seats, even though we had neither team really had to work hard because we didn't have much to play for. Well, we've confirmed our third spot, which I really wanted, just for bragging rights. I think finishing third is a lot better than anybody else expected this season. So let's not go back to that game. But one thing is for sure is that we're going to miss Casemiro. We're going to miss Casemiro. And we need a replacement. We need a replacement, man. I was emotional. What a player. Look, for me, hands down, one of our best players this season. Hands down. I mean, look, he's got us through tough times. Tough times he's got us through. But who will replace him is the big question now on everyone's mind. Every fan is talking about Elliot Anderson, Tonali, Tchouaméni. Now, if you asked me a month or two ago, I would have said, look, if Elliot Anderson's going to cost us 120 mil, just go and put that money down and buy him. I don't care. Just go and get this deal done. However, since then, lots has changed. And one of the big things that has changed since Elliot Anderson has been talked up is that a lot of other midfielders have come up in the market. A lot of other midfielders are now available that we didn't think would be up for sale this summer. Naming Tonali, Tchouaméni also possibly. We've got other midfielders that we're now considering. And I'm thinking, okay, do we go with our hearts and just go and buy Elliot Anderson and because he's the one that we've been looking at? Or would we still go? Would it be better? Would it be more prudent? Would it be more sensible of United to go and split that money and go and buy two very good midfielders? And look, judging on what Ineos are like, they'll look for any excuse in the book not to sign Elliot Anderson. That's what I get the feeling. But then again, if we're going to spend 80 million on someone like Baleba, then in that case, we might as well go and spend that money on Elliot Anderson. That's my opinion. If we're going to go and sign a marquee signing in Carlos Baleba, there's no comparison with what Carlos Baleba does and what Elliot Anderson does. Elliot Anderson is clear. He dictates the match. He takes his team and makes them play good. I don't feel Carlos Baleba has that kind of impact on his side. I don't think he does that with Brighton. No way does he do that. But look, the news coming out of Nottingham is that they don't want to sell Elliot Anderson at any cost. But that's just, talk. That's just talk. We all know when it comes to it, they'll end up selling him. If the price is right, they will sell him. And Elliot Anderson, I think, is up for sale. We can get him. We can get him. We can get him. Now, it's reported last night, or again, I'm not quite sure how much weight we need to put to these reports, but the reports are that Carricl wants Elliot Anderson since last night. All of a sudden, he's changed his mind. He wants Elliot Anderson. He's seen him firsthand and he thinks he's really good. I don't think that's true. I think either Carricl had already said that he wanted Elliot Anderson, or nothing has changed. Nothing's changed since that game last night. Yes, of course, one thing has changed. A lot more fans are raving on about Elliot Anderson and saying, yeah, he's the guy, he's the one. Now, I was looking at Elliot Anderson very carefully throughout the game, trying to pinpoint or trying to look at any signs of where he's kind of giving it away. Sometimes players kind of go easy on certain the opposition if they're going to join them, if there's something inkling where he's looking around Old Trafford, taking in the atmosphere, wanting to be there in the future. There's always something, but I couldn't see anything. I couldn't see anything that gave it away. Elliot Anderson kept his head down, did the job on the pitch, but even outside off the pitch, he didn't give anything away. I've seen footage of him, but there's nothing that I can look at and say he gave it away that he wanted to join United. So, unfortunately, I'm none the wiser. I'm none the wiser in terms of whether he wants to join United or not. He's got his cards close to his chest. I don't know. I really cannot. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet on it. I wouldn't bet on it. Right now, it's 50-50. I think City are still in there with a chance to sign him. The only reason why City will walk away from this deal is if they feel like they're getting their pants pulled down and they don't want to pay that much money, and that they've got other options. City are in a more of a powerful position of strength, because they can turn around and say, well, look, we've still got a very good squad. We're going to still win things. We've got Pep Guardiola, so we can attract the best players to City. So they could probably look at someone like Tonali or someone like Wharton, and they can say, right, we can quite easily bring them for half the price. So I think City are not closing the doors on all other options. And that's where United get a chance to come in and maybe tempt Anderson to come to Old Trafford. And I think it's on. It is on, but it's still going to be a lot of money, man. It's going to be a lot of money, and I don't trust Ineos to spend that kind of money. We've heard from them time and time again. And look, you hear it once, you can maybe ignore it. You hear it twice, okay, you start thinking. But third time or fourth time, when the owners keep telling you, we're not going to spend big, we don't want to spend big, we haven't got the money, we're not going to go and buy players valued excessive amounts of money, we've got to believe them now. We've got to believe them. And if they keep telling us, no, we're not going to go and sign someone really expensive, I'll end up believing them. So if it's over, I'd say 90 mil plus, I can't see United going in for Elliot Anderson. Unless, and I've said this time and time again, unless United can deal or work out a deal where they can pay installments to buy Elliot Anderson. Now, they've done that previously with other deals, so they can do this maybe for Elliot Anderson as well. So they can say, right, okay, we'll give you an upfront amount of, say, 70 to 80 million, if they can do that, and then the rest will be in installments and add-ons. That, I think, can happen. Do I want it to happen? Not if it means that we overlook the players like Tonali and Tchouaméni. For me, I've said it time and time again, like I've said before, Tchouaméni for me is the most obvious replacement for Casemiro, not just because he's from Real Madrid. I just feel like he's got the composure. I think he's defensively capable, and he can go and get you goals. And he's a big guy. He's a big guy. So look, it would have been nice if we could have asked Casemiro, who would you think is the best person to replace you in the midfield? Give us your choice. But that necessarily doesn't always work. You know what I mean? His opinion is his opinion. Doesn't mean that, he's going to be a great replacement for Casemiro just because Casemiro has pointed that out. I mean, we've had that before with Sir Alex Ferguson picking David Moyes as his successor. And that didn't work out, if we all remember. I mean, that did not work out. So, just because we're getting one great player or manager to point out a successor doesn't mean anything. Now, talking about managers, actually, we've had breaking news this morning. We've had breaking news on an ex-Man United manager securing a new position, and it is, of course, Jose Mourinho. Yes, it is. Here we go for Jose Mourinho to Real Madrid. This is a crazy time. Crazy time. What will Ineos be thinking right now? Could they be panicking, thinking, shit, we've just confirmed, or we will be confirming, Carricl gets the job. And then there's all these other big clubs going for tried and trusted managers. Jose Mourinho going back to Real Madrid. Once again, Real Madrid need the ship stabilizing, and maybe Mourinho's the guy to come in and do that. Maybe. I'm just saying, look, I'm not quite sure. He's not been successful in the last few jobs he's been at, so maybe he's the right man, maybe not. But he can handle big personalities. We know that's what he's good at. Jose is very good at handling the likes of Mbappe's and the Vinicius. I think he'll come in and I think he will be able to do a job on them. Now, concerning Chelsea, we've had news that Chelsea have appointed Xavi Alonso last night. So there's lots of options now there's loads of new managers coming in. And in the last 24 hours, you've also heard that Liverpool are now considering to sack Arne Slot. What is going on with Liverpool, man? I thought we were bad. I thought we were slow at reacting. I mean, that's the slowest thing I've heard come out of any football club. They're now thinking of sacking Arne Slot after Xavi Alonso, their number one replacement choice, has gone and signed for Chelsea. Like, what is going on there? I mean, that was a match made in heaven. Everyone was talking about Xavi Alonso leaving Leverkusen and joining Liverpool, but then he went to Real Madrid. That didn't work out, and you thought, right, okay, this is definitely going to happen now. He's going to come over to Liverpool, but again, Liverpool are just slow to move off the mark. And again, this is not confirmed news, so Slot could be staying, could be going. Who knows? Who knows? I would like him to stay. I think he's a class manager. I think he's done fantastic for Liverpool. Look, overall, I'm happy with what we've done this season. I think I'm happy with Carricl. I believe he deserves a chance. He does deserve a chance at taking the new United side. Hopefully, we get new signings to the new season and things work out. If they don't work out, well, we know Ineos are going to get it in the neck, aren't they? Ineos are going to get it. Anyway, after last night, it was quite a celebratory kind of mood last night, wasn't it? After the game, it was almost like it's the end of the season, but we've still got one more game against Brighton. We'll get to see Carlos Bleber in action against us. Maybe we will find him to be a top player against us. Who knows? I mean, we will see. But let me just put on a clip. We saw the boys out last night in the town, in City, going to their favourite joint, which is the Ivy restaurant in the city centre of Manchester. If you know it, you know it. Here's some clips of the players coming out. We've got jumping out of a Rolls Royce, I believe it is, and going into the restaurant. And who else is this? That's Luke Shaw. I thought that was Tyson Fury for a moment. And that's Kuna there with his missus, I believe. He had a good game. He was happy last night, and look, it was great to see. Who's this coming in? It's still Kuna. It's a different shot of Kuna, right? Seems like is he leaving now? He's leaving. Oh, that was quick. He's come and gone. He's come in and he's gone out as well. Senny Lemons, the understated Senny Lemons. What a legend he is. Look at him, just casual. Altai Bendia, wow, he's celebrating as well, man. He deserves some time away. As it, Lenny Euro there coming out, I think, with his missus as well. Lenny Euro leaving. Haven, look at these guys all dressed up, man. It's more like a fashion show. Ugarte. Now, Ugarte, actually, really interesting point about Ugarte. He's the gaffer as well, Michael Carricl, right? Ugarte yesterday, if any one of you caught the post-match scenes in yesterday's game, did you see Ugarte? He almost looked like it was his farewell. He wasn't celebrating. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't taking any pictures. He wasn't doing anything. He just stood there with his arms folded throughout the entire time, The players were on the pitch waving goodbye to their fans and everything. And I found that really interesting. I really did. It's like he knew something we didn't know. He knew that this was it. This is the final time he's going to be stood on the pitch. And he said goodbye. Well, he didn't actually say goodbye because he couldn't officially say anything, could he? But we did hear from Michael Carricl saying that Malacia is gone. He's a free agent and he will be sold, or he won't be sold. He'll be let go of in the summer transfer window. Malacia, he's been injury ridden, and he's been told that that's it. Enough's enough. Thank you very much. Another one, Mason Mount. It seems like he's going to survive the cut. He's going out. I mean, again, whatever you think of Mason Mount, I'm not quite sure. But Ugarte's body language told us everything yesterday. You could see that it was the end of the road for him. I think Ugarte believes that he's going to be sold. He might already be in negotiations with different clubs. His agent might already be in discussing move away from United. United might have already told him behind the scenes that they are probably looking to sell him. And well, look, good for him if he can get a place away from United. He's not going to get any game time, I don't believe, at United anymore. Zertsky seemed he's always quite a chirpy kind of guy, isn't he, Zertsky? He seemed quite happy yesterday. He didn't seem kind of upset or anything. He was happy with everything. So look, again, Zertsky wasn't giving much away. I can actually see Zertsky actually staying on. I can actually see Zertsky staying on. Here he is, walking in with Mbumo and Menu here. Menu had a good game as well yesterday. He's had a great finish to the season. Level-headed, always kind of chilled out. So look, again, we need to be ruthless. We need to be ruthless at what we're doing here in the summer, because we can't sit here and say, oh, look, we don't want to get rid of Zertsky because he's been good for us and all that. We need to cut ties with these players, get as much money as we can. Actually, on the weekend, we had news about Rasmus Højlund as well. We had news about Rasmus Højlund Napoli triggering the 44 million buyout clause for Rasmus Højlund on a permanent deal from Manchester United, all done with Champions League qualifications. Never in doubt, as Napoli are very happy with Højlund. I'm ecstatic that we've got some money back from what we spent on Højlund, man, because otherwise we're just losing money left, right and centre. This will give us some money to go into the transfer market to buy some players. This is important, guys. This is really, really important, because if we can sell Højlund, we can sell Zertsky, we can sell Ugarte and Rashford, that's 100 million right there, 100 million plus. Now, if we can, I'm sure all of us would agree that if we can go and sell all these players and even buy one top player, even say if that money is alone going to fund the Elliot Anderson deal, that I'm sure everyone will be happy with. Everyone will say, yeah, we'll accept that. We'll accept, because these guys are just not good enough to play for us, right? Well, obviously, we've got Rasmus, who's no longer at the club, but we've got the likes of Zertsky. He came on yesterday. He's shit, man. He's shit. I know there's some fans out there who kind of go off on how good he is and his touch is brilliant. And I, at times, used to think, yeah, this guy's got a really good touch, but there's no point in having a good touch if he can't do anything with the flipping ball. And he's had too many chances. I've watched him so much now. I've realised he's not going to come good. There's a moment where you've got to let go. You've got to realise that he's not going to cut it. He's not going to cut it at Manchester United. Same thing with Ugarte. I know there's, again, some of us who might be like, look, no, these players need to be given more time and chance, but I don't think so. You've got to ask the players. You've got to see some kind of positive play. And look, we've had Ugarte now for 2 seasons. Same thing with Zertsky. They've not done anything. If we compare them to the signings that we made this summer, they've been huge for us. Absolutely huge. I mean, look at what these guys have done within a short time of being here. This is their first bloody season. This is Sesko's first season. He's a kid who's come from the Bundesliga, never played in the Premier League, and he's bagged 11 goals. In that time, he's not even played. He's not played regularly. He's not come in and started and stuff. And his season's been on and off. He's picked up some injuries. By the way, actually, he is breaking news on Sesko. He will not be featuring in United's last game because he has picked up an injury. So Benjamin Sesko is expected to miss United's final game of the season against Brighton. United have decided to let Sesko miss the remaining matches so he can recover from a shin injury he aggravated against Liverpool. I said it yesterday. I said, look, you might as well send him off on holiday. He was there at Old Trafford. He was in attendance watching on, and he came onto the pitch afterwards, which was very nice. Most players might have said, right, okay, I'm going on an early holiday. Thank you, and I'm off. But Sesko didn't do that. And he is now going to miss the rest of the season. Well, last game. And I think that's a wise decision. Just let him rest, let him recover, because I think next season is going to be Sesko's big season. I really do. I think he's going to score. He's going to go into the 20s. I really do. I think he's got 11 goals in his debut season where he's been in and out of the squad. But coming back to the players that we've signed this summer. Now, of course, we've got Kuna with 10 and Boom. They've come in and immediately shown what they can offer United. Zertsky, he didn't do that. Højlund didn't do that, despite having great chances and playing. Ugarte hasn't done that. He hasn't come in. He hasn't done what we expect of him. And of course, one missing off there is Senny Lemons. We just saw him in the video going into the restaurant. And again, Senny Lemons has been excellent. He's probably been one of my favourite signings this summer. I know that sounds crazy for a goalkeeper to be your favourite signing, but for me, even yesterday, when the pressure's on, this guy makes some crazy, crazy saves, and he's kept us in lots of games this season. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think we'd be where we are right now in Champions League qualification and everything. But look, let's come back to the main story, which is, of course, Elliot Anderson or whether Tonali. Now, Elliot Anderson, we saw yesterday walking in again, he didn't give anything away. I was watching, man. I was watching so carefully. I was thinking, will he smile? Will he look at something? Would he give it something away? At a few of the Man United players, maybe Carricl might do a pep and run straight up to him, like Pep did with Adam Wharton, right? I thought maybe Carric's going to storm right up to Elliot Anderson after the game and whisper into his ear that, look, we need you here, my son. We need you at Old Trafford. So pack your bags. But then again, I actually like the look of Gibbs White as well. I've never really looked at him and thought, oh, he's a great player. But in yesterday's game, I looked at Gibbs White and I thought, actually, this kid is very good. And he's recovering from an injury with his scar down his face. Mad. Yes, Travis, big up, brother. We're getting Anderson. And we still gutted no Haven in the squad again, though. Yeah, Haven should have played in yesterday's game. I would have liked him playing. Anderson played well all season. A lot for 100 million. Still would prefer Tchouaméni. I agree, Pete. I think, look, if Tchouaméni is in a position of leaving Real Madrid, again, this is now going to become a bit of a tricky situation with Jose coming in. This morning, we've heard, obviously, if you've just missed it, Jose Mourinho is now being announced as the new Real Madrid manager. Will he come in? And we know Jose likes his central defensive midfield players, so he might come in and say, Tchouaméni's not going anywhere. So a lot can change. Or maybe he says, right, okay, Valverde is my main man. He's going to start for me. But I can't see that happening. Luman says, Travis, would you still have missed Casemiro had he not scored those headed goals? Probably not. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think I would. No. I mean, Casemiro this season has been sensational for us. And it's because he scored them important goals. If he hadn't scored those goals, maybe I would have said, okay, defensively, he does a job for us. But I guess lots of other players can come in and do that. So yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't think I would. But I've liked a couple of things about Casemiro this season. One of them, of course, is his goals at pivotal moments, really important goals. And two is his passion that he's shown for the badge. Big, big difference between other players at United. I didn't realise how passionate he was about playing for United. But this season, I've seen pure love for the club from Casemiro. And it surprised me. And you know, when a player like that loves the club, you want to give back. You want to love back. You're like, yeah, man, this guy's actually loves playing for United. I mean, you know, at first you start thinking, oh, he's come from Real Madrid, he's won everything, this is just a stopgap, doesn't really care, isn't really passionate about playing for United. But hands down, this guy has been brilliant for United. He has shown some passion. Personally, I think he's done brilliantly. He's done brilliantly this season. I've got to be honest, besides Forest, there are similarities between Anderson and young Roy Keane. Wow. Flying Dutchman, that's a crazy statement, man. I mean, if he's anything like Roy Keane, we need to go get him, don't we? Look, I like Elliot Anderson's, just, again, the grit, the determination, the no-nonsense kind of approach he's got. Again, I think he is, if you're asking me what he's like, I would say he is a hybrid of Gerrard and a bit of a Lampard. He likes driving forward as well, but he's defensively very good, doesn't like giving up on the ball. He goes full 90 minutes, full 100%, doesn't give up. And yeah, he's not overawed by the occasion, or he doesn't give you too much respect. He doesn't care. And for me, I'm looking at him thinking, shit, that's, you know, comparing him to them players is massive. Is massive. Travis watched after the game, Bruno tapping up Anderson, talking with him, and his arms over his mouth. Really, I need to watch that. I need to watch that, man. Jim says, unfortunately, maybe we didn't give anything away because he doesn't want to come. Yeah, look, I'm more inclined to think that he didn't give anything away because he knows he's not coming to United. I don't want to be the party pooper here. I still believe that it can be done. I don't know whether Anderson has got the best poker face in the industry or whether he just simply knew he's not coming to United. He didn't give anything away. But look, I'm going to check that out with the Bruno conversation because that will be very interesting because Agent Bruno wants the squad to improve. He came out talking about Declan Rice not being signed for United and how big of a loss that was and how big of a mistake that was from United not going after Declan Rice when we could have signed him. He would have come to United, I believe. I think Bruno knows Elliot Anderson is another one of those type of players. In fact, I wouldn't even be surprised if Arsenal don't jump in for Elliot Anderson. Can you imagine Declan Rice and Elliot Anderson together? Wow. I mean, that would be crazy. We should not allow that, by the way. We shouldn't allow that. I mean, the whole of the Premier League needs to get together and fund United to go and buy Elliot Anderson if that's the case. I mean, we don't want to see that midfield at Arsenal. Blaber was crap, passing poor, off the ball, running poor and clumsy, says Flying Dutchman. Yeah, look, I think there's many concerns, many. We can have a long list of concerns concerning Carlos Blaber. Smith, welcome, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for commenting. I've not seen you before on the chat, so thanks for chat. So you say Mateus Fernandes, West Ham, Elliot Anderson, Forest, Alex Scott, Bournemouth, much needed signing. Man United, Edison, Atlanta, Mika Goddard, Ajax, good option. Squad rebuild, please. You know what? That's an impressive shopping list, and I think some of those are doable. I'm a big fan of Mateus Fernandes. I think we should go and get him. I think he would be fantastic. Elliot Anderson, of course. Alex Scott, again, another name that many people are not linking. I think he's a class act, and we should be looking at him as well. I think we can get him for a lot. A decent price. Geordie Boy says Rasmus transfer went through yesterday. Use some of that money to cover Anderson fee. Spot on, man. That's exactly what we should be doing. We need to be looking at what we're going to make and spend that on Anderson. Get the deal done. I mean, okay. Imagine if we didn't have Rasmus that we could sell. Imagine if we didn't have Rashford to sell. Imagine if we didn't have Ugarte Zertsky. Then I could understand Ineos saying, actually, we haven't got the funds to go and spend on one single player. But let's say this, Ineos, we'll let you off. We don't want you to spend any of your money in buying Elliot Anderson. But I tell you what Why don't you sell the players that are surplus to requirements? We don't need them. They're not playing in the squad. They're simply not good enough to be at United in terms of Zertsky, Ugarte. And then we've got Højlund and Rashford who are going to inject some money into us. And it's pure profit, by the way, in terms of Rashford. If we can do that, let's take that money. Just take that money and buy Elliot Anderson. That's what my suggestion is. That's how I would fund the deal for Elliot Anderson. Let's get it done. Now, the news is, of course, that Carricl is saying he wants Elliot Anderson. I don't know if that's true. I don't believe Carricl is that vocal, not just yet. Maybe once they formalise everything, maybe then for me, I think Carricl comes out and says, yeah, if they ask him, I think he might have said, yeah, I would like Elliot Anderson. And if there's one person who knows about signing a top midfielder, it would be Michael Carricl himself, who was a very good midfielder. Flying Dutchman says, Senny Lemons for him was our best signing this summer. Yeah, I agree. He's been fantastic for us. Hasib says, Dogu isn't a winger for me or a left back. We need both. But what do you think in his position? Well, he came on, missed that sitter. I think he should have put that away. I think even he knew he should have put that away. For me, I think he's gonna be a very good left back. I think he's got a lot to learn, but I think he will become a very, very good left back. Problem with him is he's not a left winger. So I can't look at Dogu and say, oh, he's a perfect left winger. And I don't want United to kind of dress him up next season and say, oh, we didn't sign a left winger because we've got Dogu. No, that's not how it works, guys. No. He should be now playing in the left back position, and Luke Shaw should be our backup option on the bench. That's how we should be going about doing or bringing Dogu into the fold in this United team. We need to go out there and sign a proper left winger, a left winger who can actually get goals, who's got pace, but also has got the finishing ability. That's what we need. There's lots of people saying Diomande, some people saying a few other names, linking a few of the left wingers that are out available. I would say, look, we do need a left winger. Morgan Rogers is another name that has been mentioned. I just think we're going to get priced out in terms of Morgan Rogers, or everyone is going to get that Premier League tax put on to Rogers. Do I feel like we should pay that much money for Rogers? I think he goes missing. Some of the games he goes missing. Yes, he scores some great goals, but I'm not quite convinced just yet on Rogers. That's my opinion. Again, there might be some of you who are huge fans of Rodgers and might say, actually, Rodgers is the guy. Let's go and get him. Again, Premier League proven, blah, blah, blah. Again, I mean, look, there might be some of us who say Premier League proven is important. I do add some weight to buying a Premier League proven player. There is some good in that because they know what is expected. They're up to speed in terms of the style of football, the aggression, the pace of the Premier League football is different to other leagues. So if you have got someone who's used to that, it doesn't take them long to come in and fit in and start scoring goals. So yeah, look, Morgan Rogers, for that, I guess he's good. But again, I'm not quite sure if we can afford him in this current summer market. I don't think we've got the luxury to go out there and sign a Morgan Rogers or someone like that when we've got bigger problems in that midfield. And I think United, Ineos, the board, everyone will be looking at the midfield thinking, right, we need to go and secure this midfield. If we do, I think we've got a chance. We've got a chance to compete next season for the title. I really do. I think we've still got problems in other areas, but the biggest problem for us is that midfield because, again, Casemiro, he's come in, done a fantastic job for us. But can we improve on him? Yes, we can. Kobe Mainoo, he's brilliant. He's been playing brilliant under Carricl. But should we have a backup option? Yes, we should. Hasib says, Ugarte is one of the worst midfielders ever at United. Why did we sell Fred if this was the upgrade? Well, a great point there, Hasib. The problem with it is that we made a sideward move. That's the problem. We always do this, or we have been doing this in our recruitment window. What we do is we think, oh, let's go and sign somebody else. That's why the Edison move for me makes no sense. why, if we're going to get rid of if we're going to get rid of Ugarte and go for Edison from Atlanta, for me, that's not an upgrade. For me, that's a sideways move. It's stepping sideways. It's not really taking the big risk. And unfortunately, if you don't take the big risks, you're not going to benefit in any way. And we're going to be here next season or the season after talking about Edison and how useless he is. We need to go and sign better players. And yes, he wasn't an upgrade from Fred. He certainly wasn't. I was kind of disappointed with Sesko didn't play. One of my biggest disappointments is De Ligt long-term injury. Yeah, De Ligt is out for a long term. I don't know whether I covered that in my live shows. I don't think I have. I don't think I have. De Ligt is out for. Look, actually, I again from a very reliable source, I heard this was about a month and a half ago, by the way, about De Ligt being seriously injured, not coming back, and then we kept hearing from Carricl, and Carricl kept saying, "Oh, we're still he's coming back. He's slowly coming back." And I was thinking, no, he's not. I've heard completely different. So Carricl was essentially not telling the truth in the presses. He wasn't lying, but he wasn't divulging everything that was going on behind the scenes with De Ligt. But then now this week, we've had breaking news about him having surgery. And it said after 6 months of treatment and working hard to get back, surgery was the only option left. I did tell you this. I told you this was a serious injury, that he's not going to come back this season. I'm disappointed. I couldn't help the team the last 6 months, and obviously missing out on the World Cup. But I'm looking forward to doing everything to get back. To blah blah blah. You know what he's going to say. But look, this is a massive loss for us, and I'm still not 100% that he's going to come back fully fit. And this is why I've been saying, look, we need to go and sign more players. We need to sign more players. We need to make sure that we have options. We have options. Now, for me, I've said it time and time again, Tchouaméni's my number one midfield option if we can get him. I think this now, with Jose Mourinho coming in, I think it makes it very unlikely that Tchouaméni is sold. I think Jose Mourinho is a big fan of these type of players. We know his team is a very defensive type of team, so he might even play Tchouaméni and Valverde in the same team. So you might opt for less attacking players and more defensive players. So, yeah, I mean, that can happen. There is a merry-go-round right now happening. We know this for sure. We know that it's now becoming a thing of different managers moving elsewhere. I think I can see Slot getting the sack, but I'll do another show on Slot getting the sack possibly later on. I need to go through what Slot, what Salah said about Slot. I mean, that's been an interesting whole thing going on there. But Jim says, Scholes with a hot take before he got lemons, saying we should pull out and stop and get Donnarumma. He's levels above. Scholes should stop saying stuff, makes him look stupid. Well, Scholes, do you know what? I like Scholes. I've liked him as a player. But as a pundit, this guy is absolutely off his rocker. He's off his rocker. The shit that he comes out with. Now, yesterday, he came out with a comment on Bruno Fernandes post-match, and equaling the all-time assist record. And he said, oh, well, yeah, but Bruno Fernandes, he's equaled it, but it's nothing special or something. I'm paraphrasing, by the way, so it's not exactly what he said, but essentially he said, look, Bruno Fernandes is equaling the assist record means nothing because right now it's easy to play in the Premier League, whereas Kevin De Bruyne and Henry, who are joint holders of the record assists, played in an era when the Premier League was a lot tougher. And I was thinking, I don't know if that's true. I don't believe that's true. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with Paul Scholes. Now, with me, that's a load of bullshit. Paul Scholes, with all due respect, mate, that is absolute garbage. Kevin De Bruyne played in the same era as flipping Bruno Fernandes, right? He didn't play in the era of Henry. So what are you coming out with? What are you talking about, Scholes? What are you talking about? Or it being a tougher Premier League back then than it is now. So Kevin De Bruyne and Bruno Fernandes played in the same era. Kevin De Bruyne literally just left City just not long ago. Okay, Henry got his assists But my argument with both Kevin De Bruyne and Henry is that they played in some amazing teams. They had world-class players around them, and getting assists in them teams, I believe, was easier. I believe it was easier. You get more space, you get more time because you've got world-class players around you. Opposition players are marking them. They have to worry about them, so you get more space. Bruno Fernandes has got these assists in a shitty United team, right? We've had makeshift strikers. We've had Mbumo playing up there. We've had Sesko playing up there. This season has been phenomenal for Bruno Fernandes. Even those haters, even those people who say Bruno Fernandes isn't good enough and he's a drama queen, you still have to accept that he's got assists from this season. He's done absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And we've not had the best team. Bruno Fernandes has been playing deep for United. He's been playing in the centre mid position for half the season. Only when Carricl came in did he get pushed up to the cam position. Before then, he was getting all his assists from a deep playing deep position in the, Ruben Amorim's flipping formation, right? And yes, I know some of you will say, actually, it was because he was getting the set pieces and he was getting assists from there. I don't care. I still feel Bruno Fernandes has equalled it. I really wanted him to flip and smash it yesterday. If it wasn't for Mbumo missing all them chances, I think he would have broke the record, not equalled it. That's just just not word for word. Says Jim. Edda Boy says, Mr. Beast, give me some money. Okay. We ain't got any money. We ain't got any money, man. Flying Dutchman says, Anderson, Bruno, Keane, Scholes. Maybe. Morning, Rich. Hope you're doing well. Steve says, De Ligt will not be the same. Back injury changes how you move, jump. We need a centre back. Best wishes to him, though. Yeah, I agree. I've said this. I said this even before he went in for surgery, and I said, look, back injuries transform a player. It is essentially the end of the player as he used to be. Now, I really hope he proves me wrong. I really hope that De Ligt comes back next season and he starts off where he finished. He was brilliant at the start of this season. I hate to say it, man. I hate to say it. I just feel like he's not going to be the same. He's not going to be the same. Rio had a back injury, and he said himself he needs to sometimes use a wheelchair. Worse injury for centre backs. Yeah. It's debilitating. I mean, it's for anybody. I mean, do you know what? About 5-6 years ago, I suffered a back injury, and I did not ever. I never realised how debilitating it is. Really, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go to the gym. You know, they tell you, all right, okay, you've got a big back injury, go and walk for a little bit and do some exercise, do some stretches. Trust me, you can't do jack shit. You don't want to bloody move. You want to lie there and do nothing when you have a back injury. It took me a long time to recover from it. Look, for a professional footballer, that of course it'd be difficult. Of course it'll be difficult. Rich says, Hasib, United might need a new centre back soon. I think that's probably one of the reasons why they probably extended Harry Maguire's contract. Maybe they knew that they will need another centre-back. We were talking about, we've got De Ligt, we've got Lenny Euro, we've got Haven, and we've got Martinez. Do we need, Harry Maguire? And now I believe that they've extended the contract because they want to oversee the return of De Ligt. But look, I really can't see De Ligt coming back to what he used to be like. I hope I'm wrong, by the way. I really do. But I just can't see that happening. But yeah, guys, coming back to the main story of the day. I mean, there's so much to discuss. Let me see if there's anything else I've missed, because there's so much we needed to talk about today. Jose Mourinho, new manager announced, by the way, guys, if you missed it early on in the show, Jose Mourinho is now the Real Madrid new manager. And it could mean the end of too many to United, because, again, I think this could change the dynamics. I think he could come in and sort the team out, which means we're gonna struggle to replace our key player this season in Casemiro. Can we get a replacement for him before the new season starts? I'm not convinced right now. I'm not convinced. I was thinking Tchouaméni's the man, but if it's not Tchouaméni, the only other person that I can think of is, of course, Elliot Anderson. Will we be able to get Elliot Anderson? I'm not 100% convinced. I think, look, it's going to be a difficult one. Actually, another story I came across this morning was Tom Heaton. Now, I saw Tom Heaton. If you don't know who Tom Heaton is, he's our reserve goalkeeper. He's been here for about, I think, 112 years, I think he's been at United so far. But anyway, Tom Heaton, he's got another contract extension. What is going on with Tom Heaton, man? Does he know somebody at United who deals with all the transfers and sales? I mean, what is going on? How's he got another contract extension? Tom Heaton is like, isn't he about 60? Like, isn't he past retirement age? But Tom Heaton has got a contract extension for another year. Heaton plays a key role in the dressing room and can help fill homegrown spaces in the Champions League squad next season. Maybe it's the homegrown spaces, but I don't think United would have struggled with that anyway. I think they've got plenty of players who would have ticked off the homegrown. Yeah, they would have got. That's just strange, isn't it? But Tom Heaton, guys, breaking news, by the way, just in. Tom Heaton has got a contract extension at United. Make what you want of him. I mean, maybe he's a good guy. Maybe he's costing them next to nothing. So they just, rather keep him than sell him, I'm thinking. I can't think of anything else for why they'd keep him. Let me know in the comments if you know something different. As in, is Tom Heaton something? Is he someone like who's definitely? I think he's going to end up like Johnny Evans. He's going to end up as a backroom staff, and he's going to stay at United forever. Luta says, let's get 3 midfielders this summer first, and then we'll see how the season goes. I agree. I think we need to tackle the midfield option problem first, and then move on. Pete says, used to have back trouble, sciatica, but Polish ambulance driver picked me up and clicked my back in place 25 years ago. Now never had it again. Amazing. Okay, man. That's interesting. I didn't know you could just click it back in. I thought sciatica was a bit of a long-term problem, but that is good to know. I've heard something like acupuncture is pretty good for your back problem. Not that I did get acupuncture. I think I just recovered with just a lot of rest and then hit the gym. I hit the gym. Everyone loves Heaton, though. Even Cass talked about it. He really pushes in warm-ups and training. Okay, maybe that's why they are there. Heaton is just 2 years older than Jim. There's Luther, and Flying Dutchman says, what's the point in keeping Heaton? He ain't the future anymore. United should always be looking forward. It just smells of cheap. I think it is. I think it is because I think he's literally free. I think they're probably paying him like 10 grand a week, right? Or even less than that to keep him. And he's probably thinking, well, either that or I'm going to sit at home doing nothing. So I might as well turn up for training and enjoy the time around Carrington. And yeah, just have a bit of fun. Look, I've got nothing against him getting a contract. I mean, if he's playing some part in the dressing room, so be it. Heaton just a part of the woodwork. Yeah. Brian, welcome to the show, mate. Hope you're doing well. Thank you for your comment and chat. First time I think I've heard from you. So it says United should sign Anderson, but he's I think by the way, I don't know. I think it's but he is 8, always trying to go forward, which made Forest more vulnerable on the counter-attack. So if Anderson is signed, United should still go for 2 number 6s, Edison and Blaber. I'm not a big fan of Edison. Blaber, I think, is a good option. I think if we can get Elliot, I literally earlier on this show, I don't know whether you picked up on it. I said, when I look at Elliot Anderson, I do look at him in the frame of a Lampard and a Gerrard, someone who doesn't like kind of sitting back and defending, not someone like Casemiro. He does like getting forward, does like pushing and driving forward. And yes, you're exactly right. He leaves Forest vulnerable at the back when he does them kind of Machiavellian kind of maneuvers. He just goes straight forward, doesn't care about anything else. But yes, we still need out-and-out centre defender, number 6, in that position. I would rather just make sure we secure our defensive options rather than getting someone who's going forward. I mean, if we go and sign Mateus Fernandes, I think we've covered that anyway. We've covered the more driving forward type of midfielder. We do need a defensive midfielder. Maybe that's why people are saying, look, we need to look elsewhere. We need to look for Baleba as an option, because Baleba is a little bit more disciplined. He does sit further back, doesn't go forward as much as Elliot Anderson. Elliot Anderson does drive forward a lot more. Flying Dutchman says, why not bring back Vitek from loan and challenge Sani Lemons? Look, yeah, that's not a bad choice. Vitek will be the second goal then for cup games, but he might want to play, so leaves. Yeah, look, I think the problem with goalkeepers is that if you bring a class second goalkeeper, he always will say, well, look, I want to play games. But I think you can juggle good goalkeepers. I think you can, especially if you say, give them the FA Cup. So you say, right, okay, our second goalkeeper will play all the FA Cup games and say maybe all the Carabao Cup. So you split it in that way. So you say, we're going to bring you to Old Trafford, but you can play all the FA Cup games and the Carabao games. So that's your allotted games. The first team goalkeeper will play all of the games. If we can do it that way, I think you can keep them happy. I think you can keep them happy. Danielle says, you can't have 3 first choice keepers. It won't work. No, it won't. I mean, I think you can have one. Obviously, Sani Lemons is our number 1. Then you have an understudy, but a very good goalkeeper. I'm going to say out loud, I don't feel Altay Bendia is good enough. I think we need to look to sell him, but I think United will probably keep him because, again, he's a cheap option, and United are pretty good when it comes to cheap options. They love their cheap options right now. And then Pete says, we should be getting too many. Anderson and Stiller, still only 200 mil. Yeah, I just can't see Ineos spending that kind of money. Ineos are going to look for one marquee signing, as they've said, and the rest will be cheaper signings. I just hope that their marquee signing isn't someone like Carlos Baleba, because if we start off with Carlos Baleba as our marquee signing, the rest is downhill after that. I just can't see him providing the confidence needed in that team. You need someone with charisma. You need someone with confidence. You need someone with experience to come in and fill the shoes of Casemiro. Everybody, all the team will look towards a top midfielder. It's a very, very important position in the middle of the pitch. Someone who's bossing everything. That's what you need in there. And that's why I think lots of fans yesterday, having watched Elliot Anderson, are now saying Elliot Anderson is the guy, because he does have that charisma. He does have that aura. I don't feel Baleba has that. Again, it might just be my bias, but that's what I feel like anyway when I've watched Baleba, and we're going to see him next week. Will we see Baleba do what Elliot Anderson has done? I don't even know if he's going to even start for Brighton. Hasib says Baleba is at his best carrying the ball up, proper athlete, similar to Kante, has energy for days. Yeah, look, that is the other side of the coin. The Baleba fans out there keep saying he is very good, he's very strong. But my issue isn't about him being athletic, isn't about him being strong, isn't even being about him carrying the ball forward. My issue is he's currently not in good form. And why would we spend over £80 million for a player who's not playing well? That is my issue. Baleba is a hell no for me, says Dutchman. And Pete says, look at City, Donnarumma and Trafford both was brought as number 1 spot to fight out. Yeah, look, Trafford is a funny one because I think he gets games, but Donnarumma is clearly number 1, and I can't see him getting dislodged anytime soon from that position. Baleba is no Kante or Essien, says Flying Dutchman. Yeah, look, Baleba is decent, but isn't going to cut the mustard, guys. Isn't going to cut the mustard. I just can't go. I can't, with good intention, say Baleba's the guy to go for when he's in this current form. Just can't. I just can't, man. He's not even breaking into the Brighton side. Even Brighton are not playing him in every game. I mean, they've had him sat on the bench for most of this season. So how could they turn up to the negotiation table and demand over 80 million for a player they've not even started in their starting 11 for half the games this season. That is my question to them. And that is my warning alarm to the United recruitment team who's going in and saying, Baleba, let's go and get Baleba. And I'm asking them, wait up, guys. Wait up. You're willing to spend 80 million bringing in this marquee signing who isn't playing regular football. But again, it could all change. It could actually change in the sense that he might not be playing well because he doesn't want to be at Brighton. He might come to United and actually start cooking. So nobody actually knows, do they? Nobody knows. It's all a guessing game, isn't it? It's all a guessing game. You could sign someone like Elliot Anderson and he could turn up to United and become a shit player. You just don't know. That is the risk with football. But I'm just thinking out loud, I'm thinking, well, you know, you make sure that you go for certain players that are not going to fail immediately, that have already got the confidence to carry on playing. GHGG says Baleba and Mateus Fernandes or and Elliot Anderson. I'd take that. I would take that. I would take that. I'd take all three of them and I would be over the moon. I would be over the moon if we had Baleba, Anderson and Fernandes in that midfield and we spent 200 million on them three players. I would be looking forward to the new season with them players. Gomez Benjamin says, we are not getting Anderson, guys. Let's stop dreaming. Yeah, look, who knows? Who knows, man? Who knows? But you might be right. You might be right. You might be the reasonable voice in the fan base that is asking for Anderson. You might be. I still think it's 50-50. I still think it can happen. I still feel like until City don't secure him, it's open. It's open. Anyone can get him. And then, of course, it depends on the player himself and where he wants to end up. And if he suggests that he wants United, then I think United are in pole position again. Baleba and Edison got Wilcox writing all over it. Yeah, Wilcox is all over some of these signs, man. He's doing naughty things. He's doing naughty things. Baleba had his head turned. Yeah, look, I think there is, Daniel, there is some suggestion that Baleba had his head turned, and since then he's not been the same, and he's not felt like playing for Brighton, which, yeah, I would agree with. And Fernandes, Anderson, Tchouaméni is what we need. Yeah, I'd take that combination. That would be my favourite combination, actually. Fernandes, Anderson, Tchouaméni would be my absolute number one combination. That would be the best summer transfer window, in my opinion. Tchouaméni and Anderson would transform this team. And then we've got Fernandes, who I feel like is going to become a true sensation. And it's a player that if we miss out now, we're going to regret. Because right now he's going to be, valued at 40 to 50 mil. I'm telling you right now, he will be worth in the region of 80 plus million in the next couple of seasons. Once everyone starts finding out. And once he finds his feet, he's 21 years old, 21-year-old, absolute sensation. He'll be crazy. But anyway, guys, make sure you hit the like, guys, on the stream so it gets sent out to lots. I always forget to do all these formalities, but apologies. But yes, I don't normally ask for you guys to do that, but if you can, do me a favor and hit that like on the stream and then hype the video if you can. And if you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe. We do 11 a.m. daily content on Man United, all the transfer news and more. And we also do different shows in the evening, some occasions where we have guests on and we talk about United and football generally. So yeah, make sure you hit that subscribe. I'll be back tomorrow once again. So take care and I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.